Heroes always win. That's the rule. The good guy takes the beating, gets back up, and saves the day. Except when they face the wrong villain. The one who's too strong, too smart, too brutal. Then the hero doesn't get back up. Turns out some villains were the wrong ones to challenge. Bane broke Batman's spine over his knee. Doomsday beat Superman to death. The Joker murdered Robin with a crowbar. Magneto ripped Wolverine's skeleton out of his body. These weren't close calls. These were total defeats. Heroes didn't just lose. They were destroyed, paralyzed, murdered, beaten to death, dismembered. 8 times, heroes challenged the wrong villain and paid the ultimate price. Batman vs. Bane. Batman number 497, 1993. Written by Doug Moench. Art by Jim Aparo. Nightfall storyline. Bane didn't just attack Batman. He studied him, learned his patterns, found his weakness. Then, he executed the perfect plan. Bane freed every single inmate from Arkham Asylum in one night. Joker, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Riddler, Two-Face. Every major villain Batman had ever fought suddenly loosed in Gotham at once. Batman spent 3 months straight recapturing them. No sleep, no rest. He tracked Joker through the sewers, fought Poison Ivy in Robinson Park, battled Killer Croc underground. Every night, another fight. His body was breaking down. Alfred begged him to rest. Batman refused. Bane waited, let Batman destroy himself fighting everyone else. Then, when Batman was at his weakest, Bane walked into Wayne Manor, found Bruce in his study, revealed he knew Batman's secret identity. Batman tried to fight. He was the Dark Knight, but he had nothing left. Bane was fresh, enhanced by the Venom steroid. He smashed Batman through the grandfather clock into the Batcave. Bane lifted Batman over his head, brought him down hard across his knee. Batman's spine snapped. The crack echoed through the Batcave. Bane carried Batman's broken body through the streets of Gotham, threw him off a building into the city square, let everyone see that the Dark Knight was paralyzed and helpless. Jean-Paul Valley took over as Batman and became increasingly violent. Bruce Wayne watched from a wheelchair as everything he'd built fell apart. Batman fought for 3 months straight. Then, Bane broke his spine in 3 minutes. Superman vs. Doomsday. Superman, Volume 2, number 75, 1993. The Death of Superman. Written by Dan Jurgens. Art by Dan Jurgens and Brett Breeding. Doomsday wasn't like other villains. He didn't have a plan or want power. He was a weapon engineered in ancient Krypton through endless cycles of death and resurrection. He existed only to kill. The Justice League tried first. Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Guy Gardner, Bloodwind, Maxima. They threw everything at him. Energy blasts, maximum force. Nothing worked. Doomsday tore through them, broke bones, put them in the hospital, kept walking toward Metropolis. Superman arrived and realized this was different. Doomsday matched his strength, maybe exceeded it. The two fought from the countryside all the way to Metropolis in one continuous brutal brawl. Superman couldn't reason with him, couldn't contain him. Just raw power against raw power. And for the first time in Superman's career, he was outmatched. They fought in the streets. Doomsday threw Superman through buildings. Superman threw Doomsday through cars. The city crumbled. Blood covered Superman's costume. His face was swollen, ribs broken. But he kept fighting because if he stopped, Doomsday would kill everyone. The final exchange happened in front of the Daily Planet. Superman and Doomsday threw simultaneous punches with everything they had left. Both fists connected. Both fighters fell. Superman died in Lois Lane's arms. His last words were about saving everyone. Doomsday lay dead in the rubble next to him. The battle was a draw. Metropolis mourned. 4 different heroes tried to replace him. None could. Eventually, Superman returned. His body regenerated in the Fortress of Solitude, but the memory remained, proof that even Superman could die. Superman saved Metropolis by fighting Doomsday to mutual death, and proved even gods can bleed. Robin vs. Joker. Batman number 427 to 428, 1988. A Death in the Family. Written by Jim Starlin. Art by Jim Aparo. Jason Todd discovered his mother wasn't who he thought she was. Catherine Todd raised him, but she wasn't his biological mother. Jason found documents proving someone else gave birth to him, someone whose name started with S. He tracked 3 possibilities to the Middle East and Africa. Batman, knowing what it's like to grow up without answers about family, helped him search. They found Sheila Haywood in Ethiopia. She worked for an aid agency during the famine. Jason had an emotional reunion with her, finally had answers about where he came from. Then he discovered the Joker was blackmailing her. The Clown Prince of Crime had dirt on illegal surgeries she'd performed. He was using her agency's medical supplies for his own schemes. Jason, wearing his Robin costume, offered to help his mother escape the Joker's control. Sheila betrayed him. She'd been embezzling from the agency and couldn't risk exposure. So she handed her own son over to the Joker, told the villain where Robin would be, let him walk into the trap. The Joker was delighted. He'd caught Batman's sidekick, the boy who'd been fighting him for months. Now Robin was tied up in a warehouse with no way to escape. The Joker picked up a crowbar, and he started swinging. He beat Jason systematically, methodically, hit him in the ribs, the face, the arms, the legs. Jason couldn't fight back, couldn't block the blows, could only endure the beating and hope Batman would arrive. The Joker laughed the entire time, made jokes about how much Robin could take, wondered out loud if Batman loved his sidekick enough to save him. Batman was minutes away when the Joker left Jason and Sheila in the warehouse with a time bomb. Jason, beaten nearly to death, used his last strength to try to protect his mother, threw himself between her and the bomb. The warehouse exploded. Batman arrived seconds too late, found Jason barely alive in the rubble, dying, held his sidekick as the 15-year-old boy took his final breaths. DC Comics let readers vote on whether Jason would survive. 5,343 voted for death. 5,271 voted for life. 72 votes decided Robin's fate. Jason Todd died because fans voted to kill him and because the Joker was too brutal for a child to face. Batman erected a memorial in the Batcave, kept Jason's costume on display as a reminder of his greatest failure. The boy who trusted him was murdered because Batman wasn't fast enough, wasn't careful enough, wasn't there when it mattered most. The Joker beat Robin to death with a crowbar, and Batman arrived 3 minutes too late to stop it. Wolverine versus Magneto. X-Men 25, 1993. Fatal Attractions. Written by Fabian Nicieza. Art by Andy Kubert. Magneto returned to villainy. The Master of Magnetism had been an ally of the X-Men for years, but something snapped. He built a space station called Avalon and threatened Earth with an electromagnetic pulse. Thousands died when he unleashed it. The world's electrical systems crashed. The X-Men had to stop him before he destroyed civilization completely. Professor Xavier assembled a strike team. Jean Grey, Gambit, Rogue, Quicksilver, Magneto's own son, and Wolverine. They teleported to Avalon via Shi'ar technology. Magneto was waiting. He'd always been one of the X-Men's most dangerous enemies, and now he had unlimited power at his fingertips. The team tried reasoning with him. Xavier begged his old friend to stop. Magneto refused. The fight turned brutal. Magneto controlled metal. He could manipulate anything magnetic on the station. The X-Men struggled to land hits, while Magneto threw metal debris at them effortlessly. Quicksilver tried talking his father down. Magneto dismissed him. Then Wolverine saw an opening. He could end this. His adamantium claws were indestructible. If he could get close enough to Magneto, he could stop him permanently. Wolverine lunged, extended his claws, stabbed Magneto through the torso, nearly gutted him. The Master of Magnetism screamed in pain and rage. Then he retaliated with more power than Wolverine thought possible. Magneto reached out with his magnetic powers and grabbed the adamantium bonded to Wolverine's skeleton. All of it, the metal lacing every bone in his body. Magneto ripped it out, liquefied the adamantium through molecular manipulation, pulled it through Wolverine's skin and muscle tissue. Logan's healing factor tried desperately to compensate, couldn't keep up. The adamantium tore through his body from the inside out, shredded his flesh. He screamed louder than anyone had ever heard Wolverine scream, collapsed in a puddle of his own liquefied metal skeleton and blood. The X-Men rushed Wolverine back to Earth. He barely survived. His healing factor was pushed to its absolute limit, just keeping him alive. When he recovered enough to move, he discovered his bone claws, the natural skeletal structure the adamantium had been bonded to. Without the metal, Wolverine was vulnerable, weaker. For years afterward, he was more feral, more animalistic. The removal of the adamantium allowed him to evolve into a more bestial form. Magneto had literally ripped Wolverine's greatest strength out of his body and left him a shadow of what he was. Magneto turned Wolverine's adamantium skeleton into a weapon against him, then ripped it out of his body in the most brutal X-Men moment of the 90s. Jean Grey vs. Dark Phoenix. Uncanny X-Men number 137, 1980. The Dark Phoenix Saga, written by Chris Claremont. Art by John Byrne. Jean Grey was possessed by the Phoenix Force. The cosmic entity amplified her already incredible telepathic and telekinetic powers to godlike levels. She could reshape reality, destroy planets, kill billions with a thought, and for a while, she controlled it, used the power for good, protected the X-Men, fought alongside them. But the Phoenix was too powerful for any human to contain forever. The villain mastermind manipulated Jean's mind, broke down her mental defenses. The Phoenix took full control and transformed Jean into Dark Phoenix. No longer caring about morality or restraint, she flew into space and consumed a star to satisfy her hunger for energy. That star had a populated solar system. 5 billion people lived on Debari 4. Dark Phoenix murdered them all in an instant. Entire civilizations were erased because she was hungry. The Shi'ar Empire witnessed the genocide. Their Empress Lilandra declared Jean Grey guilty of mass murder and sentenced her to death. The X-Men fought back, refused to let their teammate die for crimes committed while possessed. The Shi'ar sent the Imperial Guard, their most powerful warriors, to execute Jean on the moon. The X-Men stood between the guards and Jean, ready to die protecting her. Cyclops, Jean's lover, led the team in battle. Storm called down lightning. Colossus charged the guards. Wolverine slashed with his claws. Nightcrawler teleported through the battlefield. They fought with everything they had, but the Imperial Guard was too strong, too numerous. The X-Men were losing. Jean watched her friends die protecting someone who'd murdered billions. Watched Cyclops take blast after blast trying to save her. A moment of clarity broke through the Phoenix corruption. Jean realized she was too dangerous to live. The Phoenix would take control again, would kill more billions, would eventually destroy everyone she loved. She looked at Cyclops, told him she loved him. Then she triggered an ancient Kryptonian weapon on the moon's surface. The energy blast disintegrated her completely. Jean Grey chose death over becoming a mass murderer again. The X-Men buried an empty casket. Professor Xavier gave a eulogy about sacrifice and heroism. Cyclops stood at the grave of the woman he loved, knowing she'd died to protect him and everyone else from what she'd become. The Phoenix Force would return. Jean Grey would eventually be resurrected through retcons. But in 1980, readers watched a hero commit suicide because the alternative was worse. The Dark Phoenix proved that some enemies can't be beaten, especially when that enemy is yourself. Jean Grey destroyed a solar system and killed 5 billion people, then sacrificed herself to stop the Phoenix from killing billions more. Captain America versus Crossbones and Sharon Carter. Captain America, Volume 5, Number 25, 2007. The Death of Captain America. Written by Ed Brubaker. Art by Steve Epting. The superhero civil war ended badly. Captain America led the anti-registration side against Iron Man's pro-government faction. Heroes fought heroes. Friendships shattered. The Marvel Universe is split down the middle over whether superheroes should register their identities with the government. Cap believed registration violated civil liberties. Tony Stark believed oversight was necessary. Neither would compromise. Captain America was winning the final battle. His side was about to defeat Iron Man's forces. Then Steve Rogers looked around at the destruction, saw New York City torn apart by fighting heroes, saw civilians caught in the crossfire, saw that he'd become part of the problem instead of the solution. So he stopped, surrendered, let Iron Man arrest him rather than continue the war. Steve was placed on trial. The government wanted to make an example of him. Captain America, symbol of American ideals, would face justice for his rebellion. He walked up the courthouse steps in handcuffs, surrounded by SHIELD agents and media cameras. The whole world watched. Then Crossbones, working for the Red Skull, fired a sniper rifle from a nearby building. The first shot hit Captain America in the shoulder. Sharon Carter, Steve's girlfriend and a SHIELD agent escorting him, was brainwashed by Red Skull's associate Dr. Faustus. She pulled out her sidearm, aimed at Steve's chest, fired 3 shots at point-blank range. Captain America, the man who'd survived World War II and decades of fighting supervillains, was gunned down by the woman he loved on the steps of an American courthouse. Steve Rogers died instantly. The super soldier serum kept him alive for minutes, but the damage was too severe. He bled out before medics could reach him. The world watched Captain America's assassination live on television. Tony Stark held his friend's body and realized the war had cost him everything. The country that Captain America spent his life protecting had turned him into a criminal and gotten him killed. Marvel Comics shocked readers with this death. Captain America represented idealism and hope. His assassination proved that even symbols can be destroyed. Even legends can be murdered. Eventually, Steve Rogers would return. The super soldier serum preserved his body in a state outside normal time. But in 2007, Captain America died because he challenged the wrong political system at the wrong time. Not a supervillain, not a cosmic threat, just bullets and betrayal. Captain America survived World War II and decades of fighting villains, then was assassinated on courthouse steps by his brainwashed girlfriend. The Flash vs. Anti-Monitor. Crisis on Infinite Earths Number 8, 1985. Written by Marv Wolfman. Art by George Perez. The Anti-Monitor was destroying the multiverse. Universe after universe was being erased from existence. Billions died. Entire realities ceased to be. The remaining heroes from multiple Earths gathered for a final stand. Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, every hero is available, but they weren't enough. The Anti-Monitor had tapped into an antimatter cannon that would destroy everything. The Flash, Barry Allen, realized what needed to happen. Someone had to destroy the cannon. Someone had to run fast enough to destabilize the antimatter reaction, fast enough to save what remained of the multiverse. It would kill whoever tried. Barry knew that. He ran anyway, because that's what heroes do. They run toward the danger everyone else runs from. Barry circled the cannon at light speed, faster, pushed himself beyond any speed he'd ever reached. His body started breaking down from the friction, began disintegrating, flesh tearing away. He kept running. The cannon destabilized. The antimatter reaction reversed. The Flash saved the multiverse by running faster than anyone had ever run, and he paid for it with his life. Barry Allen disintegrated frame by frame. Readers watched him literally fall apart. His costume shredded, his body turned to ash. His skeleton became visible for brief panels before that too vanished. The fastest man alive died saving everything. The multiverse survived because Barry Allen was willing to become nothing. Later, the Speed Force would claim him, the cosmic energy that powers speedsters. But in 1985, readers watched the Flash die in one of the most painful, drawn-out deaths in comics history. The Flash's death changed DC Comics. For decades afterward, no one replaced Barry Allen. Wally West became the new Flash, but lived in Barry's shadow. The entire DC universe mourned the hero who'd sacrificed himself. They held a memorial, built a statue, made sure everyone remembered what Barry Allen did. Because the Flash proved that heroism isn't about winning every fight. It's about running into the fight you know you'll lose because people need saving. The Flash saved the multiverse by running faster than light and disintegrated atom by atom until nothing remained. Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus. Amazing Spider-Man number 700. 2012. Written by Dan Slott. Art by Humberto Ramos. Dr. Octopus was dying. Cancer riddled his body. Decades of fighting Spider-Man and taking beatings had destroyed him physically. Otto Octavius, one of Peter Parker's oldest and most intelligent enemies, refused to accept death. So he devised a final plan. If his body were dying, he'd steal a new one. He'd steal Peter Parker's body and become Spider-Man himself. Using advanced technology, Doc Ock swapped their minds, put his consciousness in Peter's body, trapped Peter's mind in Otto's dying form. Peter woke up in a hospital bed, in a body ravaged by disease, while Dr. Octopus took over his life, his body, his responsibilities. Mary Jane, Aunt May, the Daily Bugle. Everything Peter Parker had built, Otto now controlled. Peter, trapped in Otto's dying body, fought desperately to reverse the swap. He broke out of the hospital, used Doc Ock's remaining mechanical arms, tried to reach his real body, and convince everyone of what happened. But no one believed him. They saw Dr. Octopus acting crazy, and Spider-Man acting normal. Peter's friends didn't recognize their friend trapped in his enemy's body. The final confrontation happened as Peter's consciousness faded. The cancer was winning. Otto's body was shutting down. Peter had one last chance to force a mind swap back. He connected their brains through technology, tried to take his body back by force. Then Otto did something unexpected. He showed Peter his memories, made Peter see what Otto planned to do. Dr. Octopus wanted to become a better Spider-Man, wanted to redeem himself by using Peter's powers more efficiently, more brutally, more intelligently. He'd protect the city better than Peter ever could, because he wasn't bound by Peter's moral limitations. Peter, seeing Otto's genuine desire to be a hero, realized forcing the swap would kill an innocent man now that Otto wanted to change. So Peter let himself die. Let his mind fade away in Otto's cancer-ridden body. Let Dr. Octopus become Spider-Man. Peter Parker died at age 28. Dr. Octopus became the superior Spider-Man. Readers were outraged. The hero they'd followed for decades was dead, replaced by one of his greatest villains. Eventually, a fragment of Peter's consciousness would return and reclaim his body. But for years, Spider-Man was dead, defeated not by physical power, but by brilliant manipulation and his own moral code that wouldn't let him kill an innocent mind, even if it meant saving himself. Spider-Man's greatest enemy stole his body, and Peter Parker died in Dr. Octopus's cancer-riddled corpse. These 8 heroes messed with the wrong villains and paid with broken spines, ripped out skeletons, and their lives. These defeats prove heroism isn't about winning. It's about standing up even when the villain might destroy you. If this shocked you, smash that subscribe button. Drop a comment telling me which defeat hit hardest, and check out my video on superhero comebacks.